What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Cory's Car Review. This gentleman standing next to me, we're joined, is David Hornbeek. If you don't know him, that means you haven't checked out the video we did with him prior to this. He's got a cool 1948 Chevy and awesome car. You go check that out. And he liked spending time with us so much, he said, I got you another car I'm going to bring you. Well, David, I appreciate you joining us again.
Corey, it's great to see you
again.
Yeah,
you too.
What a great day. I'm pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Brought out your beautiful 1969 Corvette. And I do want to say, my dad told me that this is his favorite year.
Well, I bet I'm about as old as your dad, and I can tell you, when this body style came out in 1968, this is the second year of what they called the C3 body shells. I thought it was the most beautiful car that man had ever designed, and I didn't think you could possibly design a better looking car. And I can say this, to this day, 50 some odd years later, it's still one of the best looking cars that ever came out of Detroit or in the entire world.
And it ran from 68 to 82.
That's correct.
I mean, that's a long...
15 years. The C3 body style is probably the longest body style ever that Corvette maintained. Now, it had a lot of morphs and a lot of transitions. You know, they went in... The Corvettes, at first, they were trying to do something every 5 years to do, you know, to change it up. It came out first C1s came out in 1953, and so by 58 was the first year they went to the twin headlights. And they went from 58 to 62 with that body
And that
style.
Completely changed the looks of it, because that was dual headlights. Like
dual headlights.
Slick.
And then in 63, they came out with the C2, which was the 63 was a one-year body style because it had a split rear window in that Corvette. And then 5 years later, 68, they came out with the C3. And then they kept this body shell for 15 years, like I said. But in 73, 5 years after 68, they came out with the first plastic or rubber front end. And it was a one-year body, plastic, but with the chrome bumper. And then in 74, they went plastic and plastic both sides. But by the time they got to 78, that became an Indianapolis pace car. It had a bubble top. And then by the end of that body run, there were fins and flares and wind dams in the front.
Built-in, I guess the chin spoiler on the bottom and the built-in, well, higher spoiler than what that is.
Correct.
But I think one of the features I like about this are the chrome bumpers. I love those.
The chrome bumpers only 4 years. So you get 68 through 72 is the only years that had four chrome, front and rear chrome bumpers. But it is, I love this car, and it's got a kind of a unique history. There was a young fella in the late 1950s that went to work for the Chevrolet dealership in Tulsa. And because of his love for Corvettes, he kind of became their Corvette guru. And I bought this car in 2001 from him because he had always loved the 68, 69 body shell the best. And he bought this car to give to his wife. And he, in 1970, the year after this car was made, was the first year they ever came out with, and the only year they came out with, an LT1, which was a 350 cubic inch engine with 370 horse. 72, the EPA rules kicked in, and they dropped and lowered all the compression ratios from 10.5 and 11 to 1 down to about 9 and 8.5 to 1.
Yeah.
And it just knocked the heck out of the horsepower ratings.
And we were all having, well, not we, I wouldn't even thought of them, but you guys were all having too much fun, and they're like, the cops can't keep up with them anymore, so now we got to figure out.
Well, the truth was, it was supposed to be about emission control. And so not only did they lower the compression ratios, they started introducing the kind of they removed lead from the gasoline.
Yeah.
And so that they also had to lower the compression ratios to keep the engines from knocking. But they were really after lowering the emissions so that they could try to create or control smog. And so those cars also had what were the dadgum catalytic converters. They had catalytic converters on them. And so if you got a 71 or a 72, it had lower compression ratio, and it didn't have the so the prized ones to have were 68, 69, and 70. Now, with that said, that guy became such a Corvette nut that he wanted to create an LT1 for his wife, and but he didn't like the 70 cars, because by 1970 the seats they mandated that they have headrests on them, and they came up to here, so you could hardly see out of the back. The 71s didn't have this removable back glass like this had.
See, I didn't realize that this back glass came out.
68, 69, and 70, the back glass did come out.
Okay.
71, 72, it became permanent.
Okay.
And then you couldn't get an LT1 with an automatic transmission or air conditioning. So what he did was he bought this car, which was a 350. It had 300 horse base on it. And Chevrolet, you might want to come see this, will always put, and the Corvettes, and I think they still do, in the middle, that it'll give you the engine and the cubic inch displacement. And
the compression.
Yes.
And
so what he wanted to do was do his best to create an LT1 for his wife that didn't have the high seats, didn't have, that had automatic transmission and had air conditioning. This car had automatic transmission and air conditioning in it, so he did everything to it that he could to make it a 350, and he knew all of the things that Chevrolet did with the engine. So with that, I'm going to open the hood and show you. So, for the LT1, the 350, it had a high-rise intake manifold, which he put on here. It had some other, it had the higher compression engine ratio, but this, he was able to get all of the things that were required, and this is the same air cleaner top for an LT1. The difference was because once they put a high-rise on this car, they had to put the same hood that was on the big blocks, which was a 427.
Right.
There was a raise in the hood here to handle that. And he always liked it better without the raise, and so he got a thinner air cleaner.
Okay.
Put this down, because the actual, if you'd see a LT1 or a 427, the air cleaner sticks up about like this. It's probably an inch or inch and a half thicker than that. And so this car has power brakes, power steering, air conditioning, and an LT1 engine.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
It's not a true LT1. So I'm not trying to tell anybody it's an LT1.
Right.
It's just been made to look like that.
Right.
And so then he got all of that done, and his wife died.
Oh man.
His wife never got to drive it completed. And I found it online. He was offering it for sale, and it went up, and we made a deal for it. And I told him I'd take care of it. and I liked everything that he had done to the car, and so that's why it's kind of a unique. You don't find a 69 that has the 350, 370 horsepower.
Right. But you know, something that I personally didn't know until after you were telling me about this, and I was looking up some information, and then I called my dad, because you know my dad's a muscle car guru guy. I said they really didn't offer the 350 in a Vette until 69, and he said yeah. He said the only way you could get the 350 was in a 67 or 68 SS Camaro.
Correct.
And then before that, it was either the 327 or the 427.
That is correct.
And I guess I never, you see all these cars, you see all the, like the Impalas and stuff with with either the 327 or the 427. Never even dawned on me. And he said that the 350 essentially is what took place as a 327. And I didn't, all these years, I never even thought about that.
Well, and so the 327 evolved into what we now know the 350, and the 350 block has been around for over 50 years, and it's essentially what the LS1 motors are now. And the 427 is really what evolved into the 454. And the 454 is the same block size as the 427. It's just got bigger pistons, bigger bore, and they did that so they could bump the horsepower up before they lowered it in '71 for the EPA.
Right. A lot of cool history that, some of you guys may already know, some of you don't know. I know I sure didn't know, so I learned something every day. Well, man, I love the looks of this, and if you want to come over here and you can check out the dash and the gauges. That's kind of a cool shot with that back glass being out, looking at all the gauges and stuff. And like you were saying earlier, what's cool about this gas filler being right here in the middle is you don't ever have to think about what side you're on.
You never have to worry about whether you're going to.
So obviously you can tell it's got the T-tops, but he pulled the T-tops off and the back glass out. We thought we'd just leave all that out to show you, but you check the inside out. It's such a pretty car. So you said you've had it since '01?
'01.
Okay.
And here's another story for you, Corey. I had a '69 Camaro that I bought for my daughter. I wish I'd have never sold that. I wish I'd have been able to keep it. But believe it or not, the blue on the Camaro was the same in '69 as the blue on so it was the same color as this.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is called Le Mans Blue. My son was in college, and he said, "Dad, can I get another car?" And I said, "All right. The only way we're going to get another car is I'm going to sell the Camaro, and we're going to buy something that will retain its value as well as the Camaro did." And I found this. And so people go, "You let your son drive a Corvette to college?" It was probably one of the smartest things I ever did, because when he went out drinking, and I'm sorry for anybody that offends, no. But in college most people
we don't drink.
He couldn't take a whole bunch of people with him.
Right.
So they never drove this car when they went out to go drink, and he was always riding with somebody else.
Right.
And it kind of protected this car all his college life.
And he can only take one person with him.
Yeah, but it was great for dates.
Yeah, yeah.
He did real well on his dates.
Yeah, I know. There's a friend of mine in high school that we would want to go out of town, and his dad would always, before we get ready to leave, his dad would always pull the plug wire off. So he'd go to start it, and it'd sit there and rattle real, because it was down a cylinder. And then he'd say, "Well, I'll work on it this week when I get a chance." And he just stuck the plug wire back on it, fired it right up. He'd drive it to school all week, and the next weekend, mysteriously, foul another plug wire. But now you can't do that, because now you set a check engine light and have to reset all that.
That's right.
Well, that's cool. Well, how about you get in and fire it up for us,
all
and
right.
we'll go for a ride.
Okay.
hope you guys enjoyed the video of this 69 Corvette. David, I want to tell you, thank you for joining us again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Corey.
If you guys want to go check out the other video we did with him, go check that out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up because we're awesome.
I subscribed.
All right. Give us a thumbs up. That tells YouTube that we're doing a heck of a job, and we can't wait to show you the next video.